Good evening, everyone out there. Welcome to the live stream. My name is Alan Collinge, and I'm running for president. My number one agenda item is to cancel student loans, return bankruptcy rights to all student loans, including those that cannot be canceled, ending and replacing the federal student loan program, and holding the colleges financially accountable for it. So I'm glad that you found us. We just started our campaign this week. So I've got a couple of highlights, a couple of lowlights for you. Couple of highlights. Well, we've done a couple of interviews so far. We did an interview with Issues That Matter with Cynthia Pooler. We also did a radio station in New York. I think it's WABC, if I'm not mistaken. But if you look up or down on our Facebook group, and you can find our Facebook group through our website, collingeforpresident.com, you can see the episode for yourself. So that's pretty good. We are very open to doing interviews with anyone and everyone, especially antagonistic media. You know, I'm a fiercely nonpartisan independent candidate. I kind of hate the Democrats and the Republicans, quite frankly. It's a uniparty thing, in my well-studied opinion, certainly on the student loan issue. But it would seem that most of the resistance to what we're fighting for comes from the right, from Republicans. And so I'm very comfortable going on, whatever. Sean Hannity, Cernovich, Joe Rogan. I don't know if he's right or left. Probably off the map. But I've been on Fox News. I can do all that stuff, guys. I've been sharpening this tool, this blade, for 19 years now, and I'm very comfortable going into the lion's den. So anything you can do to make that happen, this is not a watch it happen campaign. This is a make it happen movement. And believe me, it's going to be very difficult. And all I can say is that I am willing. If you set them up, I'll knock them down. So if you can interest a major or minor media platform to interview me, I'm totally down. We have a very strong argument to make, ladies and gentlemen. Student loans are going to be canceled. So the loans will not be paid. The loans will not be paid. They will be canceled. Like, as I'm talking to you here tonight, 80% of all federal student loans are not being paid on. 80% of all student loan borrowers are not paying on their loans. That's true. It's probably going to get even worse going forward as the reality of this repayment resumption sinks into most of the borrowers out there. So anyways, that's good. Matt Taibbi, a longtime colleague of ours, gave us a little bit of oxygen here earlier today on Twitter. And so I certainly appreciate that. Maybe a low light fundraising. It's nowhere near kind of what I was hoping. I was hoping that we could raise like 1,000 or 2 the first week. So far, I think we're sitting at right around $400 that we've been able to fundraise to this point. I haven't tried really hard, but certainly, guys, it all helps. We can do this. We can run this campaign on very little. In fact, we can run and win this campaign on very little. But we cannot do it on nothing. So if you appreciate what I'm doing here, I hope that you will do what you can to support the campaign. More than anything right now, guys, the most important thing I'm asking everybody to do right now is tell everybody with student loans about this campaign. There are 40 million people who are freaking out about their student loans. 40 million people in the country who are never going to be able to repay their loans. And that's out of 43.4 federal student loan borrowers, and then another 10, 12, 13 million private student loan borrowers. So, dudes, 40 million people is enough to elect a president outright in a 3 or 4 man race. Like, think about that. And so if there's 40 million people for whom student loans are top of mind, that is definitely enough to have a major impact in this campaign. And actually win. I think I can win. I wouldn't be running this race if I didn't think I could win. So if you have any questions or comments, and I can see them on Twitter or Facebook, I will respond to them. But I usually can't see them. One other quick point I wanted to make. We love art. This is an unbranded campaign, right? If this campaign was a band, we'd be the Grateful Dead. We love artists, we love art, we love cool graphic imagery, and I suck at art. So if you have any flashes of brilliance, and you consider yourself an artist and you want to contribute something, do that. Send it to me, Alan@collingeforpresident.com. I'll probably be very, very grateful, and I'll be happy to use it. Again, let me back up for a minute, just for those of you who don't know me. I am the first activist around the student loan issue in United States history. That's true. I wrote the first published book with Beacon Press, to be critical of the student loan problem. I've done a lot of things over 19 years. You can Google me. I know what I'm talking about on student loans. My other agenda issues obviously are going to be what sort of makes the difference in this campaign. My strategy, and I hope you can appreciate this, I'm going to not go far to the left, far to the right. I'm going to be taking the best issues from both the Democrats and the Republicans. So we're definitely not a liberal group. We're not a spoiler, by the way. Most student loan borrowers are, believe it or not, either Republican or independent. That's true. Between 50 and 70% of student loan borrowers are either Republican or independent. So any partisan people out there, I would say park your partisan hat at the door. My grand strategy and my true hope with this campaign is that people with student loans can live with the rest of my campaign agenda. I'm going to be rolling it out pretty slowly over the next weeks and months. Maybe I'll give you just a tiny sneak preview. I want to tax the rich. So that's liberal, right? I want to tax the snot out of the rich, like post-World War II tax rate levels. But at the same time, I want to cut spending. I want to cut federal spending across the board for discretionary spending. I would also, quite frankly, like to cut some entitlement spending, but not in the way you think. I would frankly like to increase Social Security benefits. But I don't think the federal government is, I think the federal government is paying out way too much to hospitals, doctors, etc., in Medicare billable items. So I think there are many ways that we can trim spending there as well. I'm going to be kind of strong on immigration, guys. Sorry about that. I think Trump and the Republicans are actually kind of right about controlling our borders to some extent. I don't think it's unreasonable to expect a president to enforce the laws that are on the books. But again, I'm not going to be freaking, rabid and frothing at the mouth about any of these issues. Not so much. Maybe on taxing the rich, I will be, actually. That I feel very strongly about that. But the point is, guys, I'm going to be a pretty balanced candidate, and I hope that you're as sick as the DR Uniparty zombie mafia that the neck of this country under the boots of which are. No, that did not come out right. The Uniparty, the Democrats and Republicans, have got their boots on this country's neck. If you want to preserve democracy, I think the best thing you can do is look at independent third-party candidates. Nowhere in the Constitution are Republicans or Democrats mentioned. 1.5% of the population, that's like 3, 4, 5 million people only, fund the Democrats or the Republicans or their candidates. So why is 1.5 or 2% of the population controlling this nation's politics, our policies, and everything? Why? There's no good reason for it. So I hope that you agree that it's time to give the two parties a time out. And the strongest way you can do that, in my humble opinion, particularly if you have student loans, is by voting for me. So things are going pretty well. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to your comments here tonight, guys. I'm still working out the technical details and the logistics of stuff. But I hope something that I said to you tonight rings a bell. If you got student loans, I'm your best bet. Joe Biden is not going to do anything good. Donald Trump is not going to do anything good. No candidate that stands in front of either of those two parties is going to do anything good. Please, just be smarter than that. A lot of people say, oh, my vote won't count unless I vote for a D or an R. No, I say your vote only counts if you vote for anyone but a D or an R. That's the only time your vote counts. So come on, guys. We got to break this machine. Otherwise, this machine will screw us for the rest of our natural lives. Donald Trump proved that in his first 4 years as president. Joe Biden demonstrated that in his first 3 years as president. You know, those loan cancellations that Joe Biden keeps pointing to, those were loans that should have been canceled years or decades ago. And Joe Biden could cancel $131 billion in student loans every 3 years forever. And the nation's student debt tab will still grow by 1.6 or 7 trillion dollars every 10 years. We can't do that, guys. The lending system is finished. It's failed. It's toast. The loans will be canceled. The loans will not be paid. And everybody in Washington, D.C. that knows anything about student loans knows that what I'm saying is true. And everybody in Washington, D.C. that knows about student loans, that's been following this issue for any length of time, they knew years and decades ago that this was going to happen, yet they did nothing. That's on them. That's not on us. This is not a bad borrower problem, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever your situation is with your own student loans, you are not to blame. This is big, bad government corruption. This is the worst of the swamp, and it's got to be drained. And so that will only happen when we strike out, pierce the veil of the freaking oligarchy, uniparty, the existing power structures in Washington, D.C., and speak for yourself and don't allow yourself to be hypnotized and mesmerized and trained and programmed. So I think I'm going to leave it there at that. I've said enough, but the campaign is off to a very good. Oh, very last thing. This is awesome, guys. A former board member of Sallie Mae is now totally on our side. Her name is Catherine Austin Fitz. I've known her for years, actually. She's a former board member of Sallie Mae. She tells the truth she's one of the few truth tellers from the other side who's come over, and she is now donating to our campaign. So that is strong. That made my day, actually, when I emailed with her earlier. So I'm optimistic. I hope you are. I hope this campaign gives you some hope. And truly, guys, we can get this done. We can. So take heart. Tell everyone you know about our website. Good luck. Godspeed. God bless America, everyone.